Now and then you get a chance to chop it up with a girl named Melissa. Melissa, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing today?
Good. We just tried to get some oxygen to our brains. My brain is tingling like crazy. So you're down in Austin.
Down in Austin, Texas.
How's Austin these days?
Well, lots of Teslas, lots of traffic, and lots of tech all day, every day.
They're doing the Tesla self-driving cars out there, aren't they?
Yep, they're doing some Tesla self-driving. They have one of their largest buildings. You drive by his building and it's like you think you've almost hit the end of it, and you're still driving at 85 miles an hour on the highway and you still haven't hit the end of his building. It's a huge building, miles long.
Yeah, that's the factory they make the trucks out of, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, Elon and Tesla have done some great things. Somebody recently told me something interesting. If you look at everything that Elon's doing, it all ties into space exploration. So, for example, electric driving cars. What are you going to have when you're on Mars? Electric driving cars. Robots. What are you going to send when you first go to Mars? 50 robots to build out everything. Boring company, the company that drills the holes. What are you going to do when you get to Mars? You're going to need boring company. Space company. What are you going to need to get to Mars? Spaceships. AI. All these things basically tie into his primary goal, which is to get back home. He's a fucking Martian. He's like, fuck, I got to get out of this planet. I got to go back home. I, I got to reestablish civilization on Mars.
Yep.
So
I love it.
you're a mom of one, two, three.
I have three girls and a boy.
That's enough right there.
Three, yeah, teenagers and toddlers. That's fun.
Yeah, exactly. Pump the brakes. You're good. You're good. And you recently started a new career, didn't you?
Yes, I started a new role as executive vice president in strategy and growth for a company called DrewStar in the cybersecurity AI. They have a lot of data security products.
How was that?
It's great. It's a great new chapter. The owner of the company has built different gaming systems. He's been a CTO, CIO before. He understands that cybersecurity is about protecting people, not just the network. So he has, purpose over just safety. And he really is an absolutely wonderful person on top of all of it.
Yeah, I don't think people take cybersecurity serious enough until it's too late. It's usually when somebody has an issue that all of a sudden they think, fuck, I should have better security.
Yep. Yeah, that we just had something happen in Texas recently. Yesterday, hundreds of flights were canceled as because of ransomware. So we're seeing it everywhere, all
Wow.
the time. And now, American Airlines is canceling all their flights, not just American, several others this week as we record this. So it's not going away. It's getting worse, and they're all working together, and which means we're all working alone, and we need to understand that it's something that we need to be taking seriously, our identity.
Yeah, I think countries like North Korea and some other fringe countries, they have some amazing, talented hackers. And a lot of hacks are socially engineered. Most people don't realize you get an email or a text message that from somebody you don't know, and they give you a link. If you don't know them, just delete it. If they really know you, they'll call you. But a lot of
100%.
they click on that link and then they give up information. Like I get text messages all the time. And if I just, my biggest fear is one day I fall for one of their bullshit text messages.
And that's a really good point. I work in the field, but sometimes we're tired, we're busy, we're human, we make mistakes, we click the wrong things. Like we're not always on all the time, always thinking. And so the key is to really understand that and understand that, some of the most biggest brains I would say in the industry have made mistakes in this place themselves as CTOs, CIOs, and they work in it all day. And so if it can happen to the smartest, it can happen to any of us.
In 2018, I fell for a hack and it cost me 21 Bitcoin. And it was from a old uh, crypto exchange out of Seattle called Bittrex. They're gone now. And they got me. And they got me when I was traveling. And it was through Skype, which no, I don't think anybody even uses Skype anymore. But at the end of the day, they got me because they took over my friend's Skype account and they sent me a message from his account. And I probably should have verified why he needed 21 Bitcoin. Back then, Bitcoin wasn't what it is today. And I just sent it. And he sent me the wallet address. And I thought to myself, I haven't talked to him in forever. I should probably just call him. And when I called him, I realized, golly. He's like, yeah, my Skype account got hacked. I just got it back. And I'm like, fuck, I fell for it. And
Yep.
a lot of hacks are socially engineered. People don't understand. You gotta have you thought about doing a podcast or a series of content where you teach people about, hey, let me teach you what a social engineered hack looks like so you don't fall for it.
Yeah, it's true. I think, I'm worried the most I'm worried about is our younger generation and our older generations because they have a different mindset of talking to people. A lot of us in, I would say from 20s to 50s are comfortable with the texting, the email. Nowadays, my grandparents, my parents they're used to talking. They don't text, they don't email. They're used to talking and they're easily able to give their address, their birth dates, all their information over the phone to someone because they said, "Hey, it's so and so with so and so," and they go to that doctor or they've, been to that hospital, so they think it's a call from them. And so it's very different for each generation. I know I read something recently about how many adults are on some of the children's apps now versus actually children playing on the children's apps. And so it's not just the adults, it's also the children as well that are I'm worried the most about.
Yeah, I think it's the older people that I worry about because I see so many older people falling for scams. Like I saw this one video and some lady literally went and bought I want to say Best Buy gift cards, $100 at a crack, because she was paying some guy that said she was going to be, arrested by the IRS. And finally, the lady the place she was buying it at called the police, and a detective went to her house and said, "Are you okay?" She's like, "No, I got to get him more money." And he's from the IRS, and the officer picked up the phone, and he said, "We're going to trace this. We know where you're not with the IRS." And sad fact is that money is gone. She'll never get it back and there's no recourse for her. And that was a significant amount of her money.
Yeah, that's it. And that's very scary. And there's a lot of these stories I hear. My parents had their identity taken and it took them years to get it back. They went to go buy a car and they couldn't because somebody took their identity. And so they thought they were retiring and come to find out they had different things happening for them. So it's serious business. And I'm excited to be working in it across several different industries.
Well, the one thing you should absolutely never do is give out personal information on social media. Once I got my hack in 2017 and 18, I went through a course and they said, "Hey, listen, change your name to a pseudonym on social media. Never give out your birth date. Never say, hey, today I'm celebrating my birthday and I'm 43 years old because now they know that you're born today, 43 years ago, they got your birthday. And never, give personal information that can be used against you. But I see so many people and myself, my friends included, that do exactly those things. And it really puts them in a situation that information is almost always out there anyhow. There's been so many leaks of data by Equifax and other credit unions. Your social security's out on the dark web, your birthday's out on the dark web. You almost have to use 2FA on everything.
True. It's funny. I used to be one of those people who didn't share my birthday, who all my social media accounts were not my real name. They were, but you're right. All the information's out there. We can find where people live, what email addresses they've had, what their jobs were, what companies, who their children are, who their parents are. All of this can be gathered for as low as, free, free. Some of it's $10, lots of it's free.
Now you can buy an entire file on the dark web for like $20, 10,000 people's information. People buy that information, they fill out a credit card. Even if they get a few of them approved, all of a sudden some people find out they should spend $10,000 on a new credit card.
100%. Yeah, it's so true.
Talk a little bit about your life. What are some of the biggest achievements that you've done so far, aside from making four little babies?
Yeah, my path was not straight. I zigzagged through engineering, through leadership, sales. Each chapter really brought a different problem-solving solution, vision. So I currently work in cybersecurity, but I got my start in banking, worked as a civil engineer. I've been in the gambling industry and compliance. So I've been all kind of through several different sectors. And for me, I look at reinvention very different. I look at it wasn't necessarily a risk to me. It was more like a survival mechanism for me. I followed my joy. So survival and joy. Each pivot came with fear, but it also fueled me to learn whatever it was that I was learning. And that's why I built the Executive Connect podcast. I felt like I wanted to hear leadership stories that were raw, they weren't polished by PR, how people got where they got. And I felt like when I started my career in my 20s, I didn't have any management training, leadership training. A lot of what I learned was built on what I'm going to call dumb tax. I had to figure it out by making a
What you
bunch
call
of
it?
dumb mistakes.
What you
Dumb
call it?
tax, dumb tax,
Yeah. What's the last word? Tasks or tax?
tax.
Like taxes.
Yeah, like taxes. Yeah, I had to
Well,
learn how to
I
make a
like that.
mistake and I paid for it. And so I thought like the podcast was more of a way to teach people things as simple as speaking up, like not, silencing yourself, imposter syndrome, mindset, all the way to once you became a leader, what do you do with your money? And it's not just your 401k and your savings account. So really tell people, through other people who are doing it really well, millionaires, billionaires that are actually doing it successfully, what they're doing and how they made their money. And so I felt like connection was the way to do it through Executive Connect. And so I tie all these stories together, what they learn. It's not about spotlighting me, it's about elevating others, their businesses. And I feel like legacies are really built in conversations through people versus, writing it all down.
That's awesome. What would you
And
tell?
funny enough, actually, sorry to interrupt you, but
No
funny
worries.
enough, today, my book, Renaissance Redefining Success for Modern Mavericks, it launches in paperback today. It was originally launched in Kindle and it has become an Amazon bestseller really quick. It's creating, it's breaking through what we're calling success. So it's breaking the mold of what, I was told young, and several of my colleagues were told young, go to school, get a good job, get a degree, get married, have babies, buy a house, like that would be success. So it's really redefining what success is to you, not what other people, your parents, your colleagues, your friends have told you success is. And so the book is all about that to spark courage in everyday leaders to do something different and to really unpack what success is to them. Who are you really working for? Why are you really working for them? Is that the right job? Should you be doing something else? Are you in the right relationship? And really making those pivots.
What have you learned about what is success for you?
I love that question. I think Success is for me is the relationships I have. I have somebody for something. I need a this, I have a somebody because I spent my time in my network, in my community with people. I've learned a lot through my relationships with people. So that's wealth to me. Having, people to have, Thanksgiving with, to celebrate Christmas, to celebrate my birthday. I know several people that have it all. They have beautiful homes and planes and all the things, but they don't have a significant other or family or friends or children. So they're really alone while they're building what they're building. And so I consider that success. I'm married to someone I enjoy being around. We take family vacations where we're all enjoying each other. I have a job that I love. I am writing, I'm speaking, I'm giving back to the world. And so I really feel blessed and thankful for the life that I live.
You talk a little bit about, having people in your life. Talk about the value of human connections.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this question. I think we're losing a lot of that. I feel like I
I
see it
agree.
in my children. I see their struggle with going through the pandemic and doing homeschool for a year. I feel like I'm amazed at how many times I travel a lot. I'm amazed how many times people are kind and thankful or grateful or compassionate when you travel. It's kind of like dog eat dog every time. People don't get people's luggage down. They don't let people get off the plane. Everybody herds off, trampling over each other, knocking each other with their suitcase. And so I feel like we're losing the human touch. And it's something as simple as thank you. I appreciate you. Can I get that piece of luggage down for you? It's just kindness and caring versus just going through our day to achieve what we want. I feel like we live in a place now where everything is at our fingertips. I could order something right now, get it on my doorstep tonight. And everybody is really going for the instant gratification, instant
Yeah.
satisfaction. And
Yeah, we live in a time where everybody wants instant gratification. And I think people don't understand, when it doesn't happen right away, it actually makes you appreciate it better.
100%. If you interview the people that are very successful, they will all tell you they've made a lot of mistakes. And a couple of them will say it was just dumb luck. But a lot of them have made mistakes and learned, and they outsourced a lot of their success to other people to help them. It's been, a community of people, not just them doing everything themselves. And so I feel like, you know, people really need to try to build relationships. You will be the happiest and have the most joyful and fulfilled life when you're having relationships and building something with other people.
I couldn't agree with you more. It's funny because people talk a lot about social media and creating content. And I think part of creating content on social media is actually getting out into the world and connecting with people. How do you do that these days? You travel a lot, don't you?
Yeah, I travel a ton. I mean, so I'll tell you this story. So I was traveling last week. I sat next to this lady. She told me her age is 85 years old, traveling to see her son in Austin, Texas. I sat next to her and we talked. I was getting on the plane to do some work, and by luck, the Wi-Fi was down. And her and I had a long talk about her life, what she learned, what she went through. At the end of it, she told me what she did. And if, funny enough, I don't know what you call it, I can't remember. She picks orchid flowers for the president's wives during different events at the White House. She lives in DC. And we're talking about my book. She instantly bought my book while I was sitting next to her. And so I think about that, what was it, 55-minute flight. Not only did I build a relationship and talk to a lady who lives alone with her cat, I think it was John or James or something with a J. Um, she was able to talk and communicate. She gets to see her son one time a year in Austin. And outside of that, she doesn't have a lot of connection and community around her unless she's going to different events. And so She thanked me for the conversation, and I'm thinking, I'm thanking you for the conversation. And I thought it was so special. And so that story, when people fly or they go to the grocery store or they see a doctor, how's your day going? Something as simple as like, how's your day? How's the year been for you? What are you looking forward to for the rest of the year?
A lot of
Um,
people don't understand that one of the basics in life is just reaching out your hand and introducing yourself to someone. And I literally do that almost every time I come across anyone. And I think people don't understand. That's just a basic thing that we don't do as much of anymore.
yeah, and I think I've had multiple people, we're a similar breed in that capacity. And I think that a lot of people, when I do that, I don't know about you, but they're like wondering what's wrong with me or what I want from them a lot of time. It's almost like they're already conditioned a lot of times to like ask me why I'm asking them that question. I've been asked multiple times, like, why are you asking me how my day is going? Do you know something I don't know about my day? And so
Well, I
they're
mean,
almost on the defense.
yeah, sometimes people are having a bad day and you could catch them off guard with that. But I think just introducing yourself and saying, hey, my name's Chris, what's yours? Just that simple act right there. I've gotten people to open up, talk about their life, get to know them, and create real relationships. But I think it starts by just that handshake, that human connection.
I agree. I think and I challenge people like once you make the relationship and the connection, it's not over. It's just beginning and you get to choose how that story plays out. Like sometimes, I've had relationships with people that come, for a season, and I've had relationships that have been my entire life. And so I think we get to decide that, and we get to decide, are these people aligned with my values? And if they are, we keep them. If they're not, I send them on my way. I love the experience. I appreciate the connection. We're just going different directions.
That's true. And the funny thing is, I don't think people understand. Sometimes you disconnect from people. Sometimes you get rid of people out of your life because you're just not going to connect with everybody. My grandmother told me this a long time ago. In life, 40% of the people you meet are going to like or love you. 20% are indifferent. And the other 40%, for whatever reason, are not going to like you or not going to love you. They might even hate you.
Yeah.
To the 40% of the people that like or love you, show them love. To the 20% that are indifferent, show them respect. To the other 40%, fuck them all. Do not waste 1 second of your life with them. You can't please everybody. And we live in a world now, especially for little girls growing up, social media almost makes you want to have more followers where you please more people. And in all reality, you're not here to please everybody. In fact, you've got to just tune some people all the way out because they don't align with your values.
100%. And I want to unpack that a little more. I think the funny thing is the people that I like did not like, could not stand, have been really bad people or showed up. They've either taken from me or they've done something very bad. They have been such blessings in my life. And I'm so thankful for every single one of them because they have they've made me become something totally different. The I'm trying to figure out how to put this into words, but they've challenged something inside me that came out great, or they poked a hole in something that maybe I didn't see. And, all those bad dates that I've been on, it helped me realize what I was actually looking for and all the bad bosses I've worked for. Now I appreciate a good boss because I see what those good bosses are. And so sometimes we have to go through that struggle to really figure out the strength of what that taught us and who we've become in that process. And so some of the biggest terrible interactions with people have been great for me.
Yeah, I think sometimes in life you have to understand what you don't want in your life in order to attract the things that you do want. And so many people don't know what they don't want. They just accept things for what they are. And you don't have to accept anything. You're in control
Yep.
your life. You're in control of who gets to be in your life. You're in control of where you go with your life. And at the end of the day, that's one thing my grandmother raised me with is know that you get one shot at this thing called life. And when you get that shot, live it on your terms. Pretty sure
Yep.
your grandmother would have loved yeah, Frank Sinatra because he did it his way. Cue the
Yes.
Frank Sinatra music.
Yeah, I find that some of the fear has been my compass, my North Star. So getting and working with these people that were not great, it's been such a clear compass for me. So I love that it's really helped me reinvent myself and reinvent everything around me, the podcast, the books, the speaking, the events in a certain way because of that.
Yeah, I mean, everything is designed to either elevate you and level you up or pull you down. And if you don't learn from your mistakes, you're going to continue to take steps backward. But each mistake is a lesson. I tell people the greatest teacher you're ever going to find in life is failure. Failure will teach you more than you could ever imagine if you're ready to listen.
Yeah, playing it safe never gave anyone a breakthrough, right? I think a lot of the best breakthroughs came from people that, had the courage to move through their fears to see what's on the other side.
I couldn't agree with you more. Leave people with something inspirational. What would you tell somebody if you looked right in the camera right now that would get them to get over their fears, things that are holding them back because they're afraid?
I guess just what I just said, your fear is your compass and your story is your platform, right? Use those both, and your next reinvention could just be your boldest chapter yet.
That is true. We're all writing our comeback story every single day.
I've had friends that have been part of, market crashes, business crashes, you name it, they have lost it all multiple times and they've come back. And every time they've come back, the one thing that I think is so interesting, their humility has changed as well. Like I've had a couple friends that got to the top and, they had different rules about who they're hanging out with. The second time around, they became more humble and they leveraged their community more and they spoke to people more, kind of what you were talking to at the beginning. They built a community. At the first time they went through things, they thought they were going to do it themselves. The second time around, they realized we're not really doing anything ourselves. There's people always around us helping us do what we do.
Yeah, I think being humble, especially if you're humble before God, I think that's one thing is I spend my mornings thankful for everything I've been given that day. And I think the more thankful you are, the more you are understanding of other people. You become more humble. And that's one thing. Success can make you forget about your humility. But having a relationship with God will make you always realize that everything you've been given has been earned and given by God. And at the end of the day, you got to be thankful. And when you're thankful, you're just a better human being. You're a better, successful individual.
100%. And I love that you do that, by the way, because that's how I start my mornings is the three things I'm grateful for, the three
Yeah.
things I need to accomplish, and what did I learn today?
I
And I try to do that every day.
usually start my day with these guys and I say, thank you, Lord, for this day and all that we've been given, the roof over our head, the food in our belly, the health in our lungs. Lord, you are our shepherd. We are your sheep. We pray our soul is yours to keep. This is Theo, the king.
I love it. I love Theo. He's so cute.
Yeah, I got him and his sister and his mother. I kept the whole squad together.
Oh,
It
that's so cool.
it ain't easy, but so few dogs get a chance to have their life together with their sibling, and Theo's got his sister and his mom. And it's hilarious because they're all three different personalities, but they move in a pack. I call them MS3 instead of MS13.
Oh, I love it. That's so cool. You're right. Very few actually do get to live as a pet.
Yeah, I do a lot of awareness and fundraising for shelters because I think one of the things that learned yesterday from doing this interview with the woman that works at San Quentin is I think if every anybody that was incarcerated had a dog, it would give them love, it would give them humanity, it would give them a responsibility, it would give them hope. And maybe not hope, but it would definitely give them love, unconditional love. And at the same time, there are so many dogs in shelters that are days away from euthanasia that are living in a cage also. So it wouldn't hurt a inmate to have a dog in their cell, especially if that dog was a responsibility. They had to feed him once a day. They had to give him love and attention. They had to take care of their coat. That I think that's one thing that we could do to bring humanity a little bit of love that is needed to an audience of people, inmates that desperately need it. Because inmates get zero love. It's like they're in a place that's right above hell.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
Melissa, we got to chop it up again soon sometime.
We do.
One of these days when my voice isn't gone.
Your voice sounds fine.
Oh yeah, but it's significantly better without the raspiness. I've been at a couple of events for the last couple of days. I was in Anaheim and then yesterday at Steve Aoki's event here in Vegas.
Oh, how did that go? That's right.
It was great. Ray Kurzweil, considered one of the leading people behind AI, came and spoke for over an hour. And I've been a big proponent of AI, and the computational power of AI right now is at a trillion. They can calculate a trillion applications in 1 second. A trillion.
Wow.
Yeah, if you think about that, it's just mind blowing. And by the way, that calculation speed is only growing. So AI will be probably sentient very soon, 2026, I think. And
Oh,
that becomes very scary for mankind because I got a book coming out called AI or Die. And I don't think people understand. AI is the greatest creation by mankind, but it's also the greatest threat to mankind. It's going to destroy many jobs, which creates homelessness, which creates people dependent on government for survival. I don't think people understand. There's not a job that AI couldn't do better than a human being right now. Uber drivers, the 7 million that drive Uber in the United States, a year from now, they'll be out of work. The 370,000 Amazon workers, many of them will be out of work as robots take their jobs. You're starting to see lawyers lose 75% of their billable work because AI can do their job better and faster. You're starting to see accountants lose their jobs. You're starting to see software programmers lose their jobs. As AI, like a Pac-Man, eats these jobs, those people are left without an opportunity to earn a living.
it's scary. Now I think about how they're gonna reinvent themselves and what's gonna be, the future doesn't wait for us. We have to prepare for it.
Yeah.
And so for those people that jobs are going to be impacted by AI, I challenge you to start learning a new skill, start something new and try on a different so you're prepared for when things change. I know I do hear a lot of people's jobs in Austin in tech that are being impacted, that their jobs are going away because of AI, and the employers are telling them that, right? So they're losing their jobs. So I keep encouraging them to do other things that they might enjoy doing. And
Well, I tell people
um,
this, you got to get AI to work for you, or you are going to fall about behind those who do. I'll give you one example. By January 16th of this year, I had made more personal income than I did all of 24 and 23 combined. Why? Because I had AI agents generating me income and doing 40,000 man hours of work a day.
Impressive. That's amazing.
Yeah,
And
and
you can't possibly employ that and do that, right?
it would
And
it would
manage
take me
that and lead that.
yeah, it would take me 5,000 employees to do what I do on a daily basis with AI. I'm actually at 400,000 man hours a day right now for myself.
That's impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah. I tell people this all the time. It is mission critical you get AI to work for you while you're sleeping, while you're doing other things, because if you don't, you will never scale as fast as those who do. It is literally AI or die. Your business will die. You will literally be left behind.
Now, are you seeing more people like after your event? Do you see a lot of people that have products that they're developing and using now or motivated to do a new product?
You see a lot of it happening, but what you don't see is a lot of adoption. A lot of
Mm.
people are not figuring out a way to get AI to work for them. That's why I came out with the book. I literally am going to give it away for donations. Like if you want to take the book for free, I'll give you a digital copy. I literally want to give it out to everyone so that people understand there are a ton of ways to get AI to work for you. But until you start figuring out how to get AI to work for you and help you bring in revenue, you are absolutely going to be left behind by those who do.
Yeah, I agree.
And
And I
by
think
the way,
it,
those that don't do AI are going to grow their business like this. Those that do use AI to scale, they're going to scale not like this, they're going to scale like this. Like it is insane the difference.
yeah, I agree. I think it's interesting. Part of my belief system is to pull the next generation forward and build them up. And it's interesting to me. So I studied civil and environmental engineering. A lot of the engineering students that are graduating cannot find jobs. They cannot get jobs. They cannot find jobs. Several
Well,
of them I
what,
know and mentor are working in a restaurant now
well,
until they can find a job.
what's going to be interesting is when those restaurant jobs are taken over by AI robots. A lot of restaurateurs, they can't keep employees around. But a AI robot, you can keep that employee around all day long and he will work, that robot will work better than a human being. So I tell people all the time, there's not a job that AI could not do better than a human being right now. So the only thing that I tell people is you've got to figure out a way to get AI to work for you right now so you can generate revenue from AI. You have to. It's literally it's a mission critical thing to do, and you're up against a race against time.
Yeah, I agree. It is time because there's a lot of people that are trying to do it right now, but we'll see what comes out in the new year. But you're right. I think 2026 is going to be unbelievable with AI.
Yeah, I mean, 2026, 2027, it's all going to be unbelievable with AI. But the key is people have to start figuring out a way to get it to work for them. And if they don't do that, my greatest fear is we're going to have massive homelessness, massive unemployment. People are going to find themselves without a home. That is a horrible situation that we're looking at for mankind. And by the way, do not wait for the politicians to save you. They are never going to save you. They are absolutely going to only look out for their own personal interests.
Yeah, it's difficult times in the political space. I think um very
I
interesting.
mean, it's not difficult for the politicians. They're just money laundering and tax, insider trading left and right, and they're getting away with these crimes. They don't care about humanity. In fact, the only person that I've seen ethically care about humanity is Elon Musk.
Yeah, I need to read his book. I heard that, but did you read his book?
I haven't read his book, but I watch his actions. I watch what he does, and I tell you this: he's an amazing human being. He's quite possibly one of the greatest human beings of our time.
Isn't he the number one? See, and that's another good point. Like he's focusing on making the world a better place. And what is he now? Like the richest man in the world as well, with all the stuff that he's been working on. But think about how many things have failed for him, or how many times he's made mistakes with things up and down, up and down. But his hustle is respectable and very impressive, especially seeing what he's doing here in Austin.
Yeah, I think people don't understand. Elon has not necessarily failed at anything in his life, really, because when he's come up against challenges or failure, he's literally met each and every one of them. He'll work out of a factory and sleep there till he figures out the solution to his problems. And
Yeah, and I love
that's
that.
really
I
what
love
we need to teach children these days.
Yeah, don't just kill the fear and the failure. Turn it into the fuel for the next best thing or the next thing you're working on and figuring out, how to make that work.
Yeah. And more importantly, I think what people have to understand too is failure is your greatest teacher. And when you come up against a challenge in life, just meet the challenge head on. Whatever it takes, figure it out.
Yep, I agree. And it's a great point. I think connecting courage and reinvention and leadership is something when I think of him as well. Just being courageous to do things differently, reinventing himself across many different businesses and the leadership. Some say he's, a terrible leader. Others say he's a great leader. But he's really not here to play by any rules. He's here to get a job done, and he's really mission focused.
Well, he wants to go back home to Mars.
Yeah,
He's trying to get off this planet. He's like, I got to get out of here. This place is crazy.
so true. Yeah, so true.
Awesome. Listen, I've enjoyed chopping it up with you. I think you got a great story to tell. You got your mind right. You got your life right. You got your health right. We got to do this again sometime soon.
I agree. Thank you so much for having me today.
All right. She's Melissa. I'll talk to you soon.